Hello, and welcome to the WWIA Podcast. We're honored to have you join us in our mission to bring honor, connection, and healing to America's combat wounded Purple Heart heroes. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, we welcome you. If you're a returning listener, thanks for coming back. Please be sure to tell others about our podcast and leave us a review if you're enjoying what you're hearing. Today on the WWIA Podcast, we're honored to welcome an incredible friend and supporter of the foundation, Mr. Danny Kirsic, a filmmaker, cinematographer, musician, and Air Force veteran whose remarkable career has spanned more than 4 decades. Growing up in a military family and traveling the world from a young age, Danny developed a passion for storytelling through photography, music, and film. His experiences in the U.S. Air Force, including helping document the historic evacuation of Saigon in 1975, profoundly shaped his creative vision and lifelong dedication to capturing authentic human stories. Danny has since built an extraordinary career in television, film, and music, earning 4 Telly Awards, including one for WWIA's short film, Honor, Connect, Heal. He's contributed to more than 300 episodes of unscripted television and documentaries for major networks. From the Arctic Circle to Cape Horn, his adventures and work have taken him around the globe, always driven by a passion for storytelling and a commitment to excellence. Danny resides in the North Georgia mountains with his wife, Susan, also an accomplished still photographer. They have a daughter who's a successful writer and shares in the family's creative gene pool, a firefighter son-in-law, and 2 grandchildren. We're honored to welcome Danny as he speaks about his military service, creative journey, and the experiences that have made him one of the industry's most respected visual storytellers. Let's go ahead and join the conversation with John and Danny right now.
Hi, I'm John McDaniel, founder and CEO of the Wounded Warriors in Action Foundation, and this is our podcast, Honor, Connect, and Heal. It's early June. Okay, it's actually D-Day. It's the 6th of June, 2026. Happens to be my oldest son, Dylan's birthday. Happy birthday if you're ever listening to this, buddy. But I have with me in the studio today a friend of mine who, how long have we known each other, Danny?
Man, it's decades. Well over a decade. 12
to 15 years, we didn't count. But Danny Kirsic's here with me, and Danny and I have been, known each other, have a professional relationship. He's supported the foundation. I think, my first memory of us doing anything together was probably the Honor, Connect, Heal video that we did. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. Actually, the first time we met is when Doug McMahon connected us.
Oh, that's right.
And we met over lunch at the marina when my wife and I came down.
Okay.
That's when we first met you, because it all started with Doug saying, "You got to meet. Right. I want you to meet this guy." And so that we actually met each other, and then started talking, and then it just happened from there. Everything happened from there.
That's right. And then we shot Honor, Connect, Heal up in Wittapitlock, Maine, and we've done a whole bunch of other things. And here we are some 12, 15 years down the road, whatever it is. And you're back here in Florida. You're in my office. We got 2 combat wounded veterans. Our leadership development program is happening as we speak. We just finished having a nice breakfast, and we thought we'd come in the studio and capture this opportunity, because Danny is a person who I admire a lot. You're a tremendous. I guess we say in the pre-show, your title is, say it again how you said it.
In a nutshell, I take pictures and I write songs.
There you go.
And that really kind of wraps a 70-year game up.
You're a veteran. You were in the Air Force, and tell us that story. Give us the wave tops of that, because it's interesting. We were chatting about it last night. I knew you started out as a drummer. Your dad got you a guitar, and the next thing you know, you're in the Air Force playing for the Air Force band or something like that.
Yeah, it was. I went to high school in Europe, in Italy, and when we came back to the States in 72, my dad was telling me, he said, you need to make a choice. He they're still drafting, for NOM, and right now you have choices. And we got back to the States. He went to Central Command in MacDill. A couple months later, he called. After I'm well into traveling with like East Coast bands, playing hotels and just having a party, he calls me up and goes, "Man, you're not going to believe this, but the Air Force, who has always had bands, all the branches of the service have bands, but because they were going through such a period of time of bad press because of the war, mostly, that the Air Force was not just going to have a band. They already got a band, but they wanted to put a rock band together, a 7-piece rock band, for the purpose of public relations. I mean, it was, they knew what they were doing. It was a plan. And he goes, they're going to start looking for people. And you have to audition, and you have to go the process. If you get picked, you're in. And that's kind of how it started, I auditioned, actually, as a singer. That I didn't even have to play guitar. And I got the gig. I'll never forget the song. The song was MacArthur Park. Richard Harris's version of MacArthur Park was the song that they gave you to see if you could do the job. You
had to sing and play that, or just
I didn't have to play it. I just had to sing.
Oh, damn.
And I'd never even heard that song.
No, I don't know what that is.
Let me tell you, if you ever pull it up sometime, it's a tacky old tune, but my gosh, it is a tough tune.
Got you a job.
And I was younger then. My voice was, it was different, and it took a lot of work, but I killed it, I guess.
Awesome.
And I got the gig, and of course I had to go to Basic. Basic was interesting because well, you know what Basic is. It's like they just beat you up for 8 weeks or whatever.
But it's the Air Force, so we gotta
it's not that bad.
Have to caveat that.
It's a bit of a cakewalk, but my dad used to be a drill instructor. He was a drill instructor for years at Lackland, so it's like I'd already heard all the stories, and he told me how to do it. Keep a low profile, don't stick out, blah blah.
Don't volunteer, all that.
Yeah. So but what was funny is, they were taking us out multiple times a week, like for rehearsals and stuff. So it was the drill instructor was driving him crazy, because that kind of made me stick out, and it made him he wanted me more, simply because I was getting out of everything, so that was fun. And then he would have me on Sundays. Like Sundays, he was beating me up, the toothbrush in the bathroom thing. Oh, yeah. He was killing me with it. And then I had a buddy in the squadron, and he goes, man, I heard you play guitar. And I go, oh yeah, I can play guitar. He goes, man, they're always needing people for this. They have a thing called folk mass now. And I'm like, I didn't even know what that was.
Folk mass?
Folk mass, yeah.
Like it was a mass done in folk style.
Well, what it is, they would have musicians, and a band would play, and then everybody'd sing, and then they'd give a sermon or whatever. And so I thought, wait a minute. All I got to do is play acoustic guitar at the church. And he goes, yeah.
3 chords of red guitar and the truth, baby.
That was it. So now my DI, he can't even get me on Sundays, because now I'm in church on Sundays. It was funny, but I had a great time at Basic, and then they sent us to MacDill,
which is, by the way, as the crow flies, about 8 miles from where we are right now, across the bay.
Exactly, across the bay, man.
Yeah.
And it was funny, like it's a long time ago, but I remember, like, when you come out of Basic, they give you a chance to put all these places that you'd like to go. Like, I want to be stationed here. I want to be stationed here. I want to be stationed here. And it's like, and after we get all our shots and stuff, we'd all sit around talking, and all these guys going, hey man, look at my list. I'm going to go to Hawaii, or they think they're going to go to these places, right?
Hello, Korea.
And I did, and mine was like blank. I didn't even fill it out, because I knew I was going to Tampa. And they're going, well, how do you know where you're going? I go, I just, they told me that's where I'm going. So they had taken an old bank on the base that closed down, and then they retooled it as a studio and rehearsal facility. It was really nice. So then that's where we all met. And we had our office people. We had actually we had songwriters and arrangers. Then we had the captain and all the command, and then we had maybe a dozen players.
Have you been to MacDill anytime lately? Because I think it'd blow you away. It's right there. We should go look at it.
I wouldn't mind that at all. The last time I was there was in the 70s.
Oh, man, it's so... I'll have to take you over there. You'll have to see it. I mean, you got CENTCOM, and so CENTCOM's still there, but when I got here, geez. Well, I remember I first visited SOCOM, I want to say, in the mid... I guess it was, mid-90s, I think. And CENTCOM, no, it's before then. It was before Desert Storm Shield. So CENTCOM was headquarters was like a shack. Like it was a backwater command. And then Desert Storm Shield happened, the invasion of Iraq and Kuwait first by Saddam. And then CENTCOM grew. And then the problem set in the Middle East continued to grow. That's their AOR. Mm-hmm. And then CENTCOM just blew up. Its campus literally has blown up. It's quite impressive. And on the same chunk of terrain there was really three units, I guess. There's CENTCOM, SOCOM, Special Operations Command, and then it's an Air Force base with C-141s. KC-141s. Mm. So they're the refueling mission. So there's a whole bunch of Air Force guys running around with that mission set, right. Air refueling sort of thing. So it's a happening place. I think you'd like it. But let me ask you one back real quick, closing out on your musical career. I know you're still playing, and we're as soon as we finish this podcast, we're going to my house and we're breaking out the guitars. It's true. It is. Well, the guys are fishing right now, so they're done at 1300. We got a few hours of time to kill. I wanted to do this podcast and then go break out the guitars and have some fun. But you at one point you were with the Dolly Parton band.
Man, you took a big jump there in time.
Yeah, well, I mean, you were in the Air Force. You were in a lot of bands, right? Mm-hmm. And then I remember having a glass of whiskey with you in some little shack in Wittapitlock, Maine, by candlelight. Yeah. And that's when I was like, this is a cool dude, because you were telling me some of these stories about being in rock bands, and you had mentioned the Dolly Parton gig, and I was like, holy crap, I mean, this isn't just some dude that fell off the turnip truck. This is a real, no kidding musician here, and he knows what he's doing. And I was like, well, anyway, so yeah, you've played tell us about some of those experiences. Any cool stories there?
You mean Dolly stories?
Yeah.
I mean, she's my favorite person, period. Mm. She's like the real deal.
Wow. Everybody says that about her.
It's true, man. She's like, I'd like to say there's nothing fake about her, because we all know that's not true, but she's like the real deal. There's nobody more honest with her. Yeah. Like she disarms you as a host, because the first thing she does is attack herself.
Exactly.
Like she gets all that out of the way, and then you got nothing to talk about.
Nothing, man. That's a good way to do it.
But no, man, it was a couple year run with her, and where she signed the paychecks, and couple of things stuck out. My favorite thing was actually her bus at the time, because she didn't travel with the band, is like in the rear of the tour bus is the sleeping suite, but she had these cabinets, these overhead cabinets that wrapped around the entire suite. And like you'd have in a kitchen cabinets, and every one of them had a wig in it. Like it's like you open it up, and there was, I don't even know how many heads she had
a custom built.
I mean, you never saw her with her real hair, and she's a blonde anyway. But she's like a dirty blonde, but she's just beautiful. I just thought that was so cool.
She got a sweet voice too, man. She really does. She recently came back and released like an album not long ago. I think, at least I thought she was gonna.
I don't know. I know that around the time that I quit playing out there, she was going from just her her typical radio hit stuff to she wanted to get back to grassing more, and she's got a lot of bluegrass, and she got a lot of cousins and nephews that are like big time players. Yeah. So she wanted to put something together using them, the family and some other pickers. But she went she went back to the roots, so to speak. You know, she did a couple albums like that, and she even did some rock covers in bluegrass too, which I thought were super cool. Because I know she liked the song Train Train, which is a cool tune, but doing it in grass is like even cooler, man. Right. So, and I had played with her sister Rachel, her brother, who just recently passed away, and Randy, bless his heart, and I think, you know, pretty much everybody in the family I picked with at some point. Yeah.
So you're let me ask you. So beyond this musical talent that you have, it's great story, and I can't wait to jam with you and learn from you a little bit this afternoon. But let's talk about your present job. You know what you're doing. I mean, you worked. You were the. I don't know, you were the co-producer and you know, video guy and the photographer, the director of photography for, you know, our Honor Connect Heal piece. And you did the Long Road Home with Jeremy Smith, and we did a thing in Mocan, and you were the man behind the scene pulling all that together. Bob helped, obviously he was, you know, kind of directing the show. But it was, if you look at that, those works, they're all very, very high quality, and you've got an eye for it. And, you know, just this morning you're flying a drone out there as the guys are, you know, shoving off out into Tampa Bay, and just all of your work is super high quality, and people hire you to do this now, right? I mean, right. You're shooting a lot of boats, you said, but talk to us about what's going on today with your work. What would be a typical, because you also did the Tread Barta show, did you not, for the longest time?
Yeah, I was the field producer and lead camera on that show, and I think we did over. That was a lot. I don't even know how many episodes we did. We did like 8 or 9 years. I mean,
yeah. At the time, I remember it being like the longest running outdoor sporting program in history for a while. It's been eclipsed, I'm sure, by other things now. But back then, it was like that was the heat. You know, Tread Barta the hard way. There's the Barta way, and there's the hard way.
Yeah, the hard way, the Barta way.
The hard way, the Barta way.
His for all of his idiosyncrasies that would drive any normal person out of their mind.
He's difficult to work with.
He was great on camera, man.
Yeah,
but he I don't know how to explain Tread. He's since passed, but we were the highest funded, longest running outdoors TV show. Period. I mean, we like
sponsors. I mean, he had good sponsors, right?
They had great sponsors, but when it first started, it was NBC, you know, and they. At that time, they just threw a ton of money at us, and we went, holy smoke. The only thing Tread was known for fishing. That was his thing. He's a big,
I thought he was a big hunter.
No, he was, but the network made him a hunter because they said that we want like 70-30. We want 30% on the water and 70% on land. Oh, man. So he thought he was a great hunter. But what he...
I heard other stories.
I know them all, man. I know where all the skeletons are. But they went through a couple of field producers, because he owned them. You know, he was such a...
He could have it his way.
He was a handful, man. Yeah. And like the previous producers before, I was always a shooter, but I wasn't running anything, but... He'd just get them to the point where their heads would explode and boom, you're fired, you're gone, you know, boom, boom, boom. But him and I, you know, it was one of those things like a bully. It's like you can get bullied, but as soon as you stand up to them,
they back down.
And you have that moment, that little come to Jesus moment, and all of a sudden, I don't know if they feel like you're on equal footing, but they kind of respect you a little bit more.
Exactly.
And
stand up to bullies, folks.
Yeah,
that's the moral of that story. Right.
But no, we had a great time, and the reason he was a bow hunter. We never used a gun.
A traditional archer.
Straight up longbow, man.
Yep, I remember that.
And I think that's what made the show.
He shot a pheasant out of the air once, and they caught it on film. And I remember you telling me the story. I think it was you, like how many takes they had to get.
It was an all-day thing for that shot. Yeah.
I mean, I saw it live while I watched the program. This is before I knew you. Right. And I was like, holy crap. And then I remember Doug McMahon. God bless you, Doug, for turning me on to Danny here. You know, I gotta give you a plug there. Hope you're getting to listen to this. But I remember you guys went up to BC.
Yeah,
with Doug and Julie up there, and Skinner Creek Outfitters, and you guys hunted with Barda black bear or something like that.
Yeah, I think that actually the first bear we got was a grizzly early on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that was like one of the first shows. This is crazy because we went up there with another outfitter, and in the course of making that show is when we met Doug. We happened to cross paths with Doug.
In the wood line?
No, well, at this place they had a stand, it looked like this old farm. I wish I could remember where it was.
No, I've been there. He took us there.
But I think it was owned by Doug's family or something.
It's kind of like abandoned farmhouse.
Yeah, it's kind of like
we
that.
Shot there once.
Yeah. Okay.
Nosler's Magnum TV did a bit with us up there, and that's where Doug took us. As one of the scenes.
Well, that's how I got hooked up with Doug, because we were having a hard time. This was a black bear hunt. This wasn't the first grizzly hunt, but like the first black bear hunt up there. Yeah. We were with a gentleman, Leonard Ellis was the guy's name. Super guy, super outfit up there, and that's a whole nother story. Oh my God, that'd be like a 12-part miniseries just talking about Leonard and his operation there. It's amazing, but. Leonard, we kind of needed help because we were running out of time, and he goes, "Well, he's like, I know this guy."
I mean, you had to get a kill.
We had to get a kill, so that's when he kind of paired up with Doug, and that's when we met him. And then, did
Doug facilitate the harvest?
Yeah, kill it, and didn't take any credit.
Do you use his hounds?
We did.
Yeah, that's the fastest way to do it.
It's I'd never done that before.
Yeah.
Being from the South, I've certainly seen it done with coon dog, but not chasing bears. And his dogs are so world class.
Yeah, man.
I mean, couldn't even. They're all collared, and they all got GPS, and they all got their assigned names, and they're trained by how many times you can remotely hit them. Not to hurt them, but like just a little shock,
Right.
And that's how he talks to them from 2 miles away. But it was just amazing. All of a sudden, it turned into this epic show. And
I remember one time he invited me up there to go lynx hunting, and just me. He's like, "Dude, he calls me up. He goes, 'What are you doing?' Like 2 weeks from now or next week or something." It was like short timeline. I'm like, I break out my calendar. I go, he goes, "Well, let me tell you what you're doing. You're coming up here to hunt lynx." And I go, "I am?" He goes, "Yeah, you are." And so I said, "Okay." And so I flew up there, and we'd already met because we had done several events with him, and we had a whole series of events that were going on up there at Skinner Creek Outfitters and with combat wounded guys. And so I said, "Okay." I went up there, and I said, "Well, I'll." He was like, "Well, any good guy?" It's like, "Well, what are your expectations?" I said, "Listen, I'd just like to harvest a mature tom, lynx. That's it, and that's really all I'm interested in." So we went out and tried to do that, and we treed one late one night, and it was a nice lynx, but it was past shooting hours, so we didn't take it. But the next day, we're out there doing the same thing, and it's snowed, and the dogs are on a track, and they're like 3 grid squares away. Like, this is British Columbia in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, there's logging roads, a few logging roads and forest. And when the dogs chase a critter, now they don't know you don't know if they've got a bear treed. Probably not a bear because it's wintertime, they're hibernating, but it's either a big cat or a lynx, typically, at that time of year anyway. So I'm looking at this thing where these dogs are on the GPS, and I'm like, dude, there's no way to get there besides like either foot.
Yeah.
He goes, "Well, we'll go have dinner and then we'll get the snow machines out." I'm like, "Cool." So we went and had dinner, and the whole time we're having dinner, he's like, "Yeah, they're still treed." You can see where these animals are, like 3 grid squares away. And so we finished dinner, get on the sleds with the rifle, and and go hauling ass across the country. And literally, I mean, he's a wild man. I had to stop the snow machine. This is pitch dark at night. It's like 11 o'clock at this time.
Right.
I had to stop the snow machine, shut it off, and listen to where he went. to go get him. Now he goes, well, why don't you follow his tracks? Well, because when you're out there, there's a couple of tracks that split, and he's been using some of those trails, so I didn't know which way to go. Long story short, we get to the tree, and sure enough, there's a lynx up there, and we recover the dogs, but one of the dogs has been wounded. Right. He's hurt. So no, he's like, all right, you need to take, I think it was Oscar, you need to take Oscar with you. He put the dog in between my legs on the snow machine, and here I am driving across British Columbia with a rifle strapped to my back and a dog in my lap on a snow machine. I have no idea where I'm going or what I'm doing, but it was fun. He's a good. I
loved Oscar. Oscar was a great dog.
It was. He was. I think one of his top dogs for sure.
Yeah. He used to carry a stapler with him.
Oh yeah. Something happened, you staple the dog. Yeah, they get whacked a lot.
Yeah, those the most impressive group of dogs I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Definitely. So tell us about what you're doing now with this photography. You're a videographer, is that right?
Yeah, but my specialty is outdoors and big game and wildlife, man.
That's what you love to do?
I freaking love it. I never was a big hunter. I never was a big fisherman. I enjoy watching people just being in love with it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like to capture. I'm good at it. And like the way I got hooked up with that, strangely enough, was early on, I was writing songs for the TV shows, for hunting shows. And
we got to have a jingle, by the way. Maybe that's what we should do this afternoon, is create a WWIA jingle. Sorry for interrupting.
No, we should start. We've had that conversation before. We'll get to that, but I'll show you the process. I think it would be fun. But the guy who was producing the shows actually happened to live really close to me. So I would watch these shows. I didn't have to communicate with them much because I wrote the songs, and now they got the songs, right? Mm-hmm. But then what it is, I would watch the footage. I would see the shows, and I'd go like, man, I can do this. I want to go do that. I want to. At this time, I'm still on the road playing music, but I kind of wanted to stay home more. And I said, I'd love to be a film. And he goes like, it's a great gig if you can do it, but there's only so many seats at the table. You can't just hire another guy. You have to wait till somebody either quits or dies, right? And sure enough, man, one of these guys, I hate to laugh, but it wasn't long after that conversation, one of the guys drowned in the Bahamas shooting a TV show.
That's not a good way to go.
Yeah, and I think it was after the shoot, something stupid happened in a marina, but he ended up drowning. So the next shoot was out of the Hamptons where Tread lived. They were going after bluefin tuna. It's a bluefin tuna.
That's right. I remember that.
And it was which I had never been a big boat guy, like a little boat guy, yeah, but not a big fancy fishing boat guy.
Like a big old Hatteras or something running through the water.
Yeah, and I don't even know what that
Buddy
boat
Davis
was. Yeah, but I think it wasn't that big a boat. It might have been like a 40-footer or something. It wasn't that big.
A sport fisherman.
But we were going out of freaking, at that time, we were going out of the Hamptons, somewhere in the Hamptons, and we were going to Hydrographer's Canyon, which is like if you're heading out to the Azores. I mean, it's like, we're talking like 80 miles out in the Atlantic. I mean, in the roughest part.
Looking for the Gulf Stream or something?
Yeah, where the cold meets the warm water.
Yeah.
And I had never done that.
That's a haul, man.
And it was, and the weather, I remember that day, man, because the weather was not great. Yeah. And we were going all over the place. And I'll tell you right now, when they talk about you get seasick and you turn green, that's not a saying. You're green, dude. Yeah. I mean, I remember going down. I was.
Your face loses all color, man.
Yeah, and what happened is it was coming because the only thing that he took on this trip that he always ever did, he would stop and get these frozen freaking burritos, and they were all just horrible reheat burritos, and that's all we had on the boat. And so
when you're seasick, that doesn't
it was
really
horrible. And I just remember Tread going, I don't know what I guess you bleep on here. I don't know, but he cussed a lot, and he go, you're not puking on my effing boat, And so I went down to the head which was a horrible move because as bad as it was on deck, it was even worse down there.
That's right.
And I remember looking in the mirror at myself. I'm going, oh my God, this is the most embarrassing moment. And I'm really
you can't snap out of it either. That's the thing, man.
You can't snap out of it. And I couldn't regurgitate down there. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I come back up.
Couldn't yak. Actually, sometimes you feel better. I've never got to that stage, but I've seen a lot of dudes who have.
It's terrible.
It's horrible, and you want to help them. Like I was out there with Luke. We were in the Atlantic with both my boys, and we were fishing for sails. And this was last year. And the captain says, "Yeah, the bite's on." I'm like, "Awesome!" So we get out there, and the seas are like 5 to 7 foot rollers. Now, we're not that far from shore. You can see shore, but it was just one of those days, man. And Luke starts getting sick. And here's this, he's probably 8 years old at the time. And he's like, "Dad?" I'm like, "Yeah, buddy." He goes, "I'm not feeling good." And then, it's okay. You try to coach him through it. But at the end of the day, he was turning green. And I went to the captain. I said, "Listen, man, we got to go." I go, "I'm going to pay for the full day that we have you booked. Okay, don't worry about it. Let's just get this kid back to So we're steaming back to the shoreline. He's like, "I got to tell you, man, I respect what you did. Most dads or most people just say, 'Suck it up, buddy.' And because they paid all this money to go out there and get sick and just get your butt handed to you." Yeah. But we went in. Yeah. So I've seen it. So, yeah. So what happens? You're on the boat. You're getting sick.
Yeah. I come up and we're all kind of bunched up at the right where you go into the galley, not the galley, but the little living room section, whatever you call it. And the back door's open, and it's like just gloomy, ominous looking outside. So I'm standing in the doorway because that cool air's blowing on me. Yeah. And I couldn't hold it anymore. He goes, and then Tread I turned around and looked at Tread. He goes, again, "Do not effing throw up on my boat, man." It's like that. So I thought, well, and he's hauling butt. They must have, 15, 20 knots. I mean, we were hauling in.
I'm sure.
Because they're trying to beat the weather and all that shit. So I'm just going to go to the transom. I'm going to go to well, that wasn't quite as easy as it looked.
Because it's the distance.
Because the boat is like nose up, and that thing's, I mean, we're hauling, but
you just don't want to paint his boat, man.
The top of the transom's like even with the water now because we're like tracking it. So I just slid down there and I'm hanging over the back and I'm instantly felt so much better, man. Yeah. As soon as I burst, man, it was horrible. And I remember just turning around. I'm on my knees. And I remember turning around sitting on my boat with my back against the transom. And then there's Tread standing in the doorway, just looking down at me, shaking his head, man. And I thought, like, you know what? This is a wonderful experience. I'm probably never going to do this again, blah, blah, blah. I come home. We wrapped the show up. And there was always 2 shooters.
Okay.
So we wrapped the show up, went back the long ride back to, because we didn't go into Islip. We came in through New York, through LaGuardia. Mm-hmm. So that long ride back and a couple days later, we go back and do like a rebrief, with the producer and told him what happened and what we got, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But man, a week later, he calls up and goes, "You feel like doing this again?" I go, "Man, you want me to go back out there?" He goes, "The footage was great, and Tread said Tread said like, "Yeah, man, I can work with this dude."
That's cool.
And that was it. Like 300 freaking episodes later, Wow.
Well, you got to get to know. Yeah, obviously, you can't help but get to know a guy,
right? And I got super good at it, if I should say so myself. It's like if you spend as much time as we did on these boats chasing big game, I'm talking big game like marlin and tuna and whatever the heck else we might latch on to. Me and the other cameraman, it's like a dance routine. Mm-hmm. We'd all immediately know where we're going to be on the boat and what each one of us is going to shoot. Mm-hmm. So it was good.
Almost choreographed after
Very much choreographed, yeah. And then once we got on land and started chasing game, I'm a good hunter. Is like I know how to hunt. And the camera's the same as a gun.
Right.
It's just I'm shooting it with film instead of a...
Yeah.
So we would always have... The whole time we were on the air, like I said, we had 2 shooters. One guy was always over the shoulder of the hunter, like right there with him, looking down the barrel and close up, blah, blah, blah. And the other camera was always what we would call the alternate perspective. So I'd be like at a 45-degree angle 100 yards away. So that I loved that because I'm always by myself. You usually got the hunter. The best is a hunter, the guide, and the cameraman. And then the other cameraman, which is me. So you got 4 people in the woods trying to hunt predators that are more than aware of the fact that you're there.
Right.
And you can't, it's hard to sneak up on something when you're coming at it from 2 different angles, because they feel they don't have to hear you or smell you. Anybody that hunts knows that they sense pressure alone. They know, they just sense that.
Especially the dangerous game animals, they understand that.
So we did that for years, and we had it down, man. I mean, like, never missed a kill shot. You know, I don't even know how to explain it. If you ever get a chance to find one of these episodes and watch them, they're pretty amazing.
Wow. I'll change gears here in a little bit with you, and I wanted to mention something that, we're very proud of, and it wouldn't have happened without you and your daughter, Megan, actually. This probably goes back, I don't know, close to 10 years ago. I don't know when she left ammo.com, maybe 8, something like that. I'd have to look. But anyway, you mentioned that your daughter, Megan, worked at this place called ammo.com. And I was like, okay.
Well, she actually owns her own company, but she handles their brand.
Oh, okay. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So what was she doing for them? Is she a marketeer of sorts?
It's like really weird. It's like when somebody asks my daughter, well, hey, what does your dad do? She kind of, her hands go up in the air, like, I don't know how to explain what he does. Okay. And it's the same thing with Megan. Like, she handles brands. She owns a company that
markets brands or
brand management.
Brand management.
Yeah, and so she's a writer, so she knows how to put into
the content that goes online
to make whatever their product is relevant. I mean, she's just amazing at it. And then when she had right before ammo.com came on, she had a list of clients like that she worked them, right? And then ammo.com came on, and she said they vetted her a lot because they only want certain type of people working for them. And what it was is they wanted her full time. So it was like, she's going, well, I can't because I have these obligations to these other companies. Sure. Well, how much are they paying you? That kind of thing. So what they did, they bought her out basically. We want 100% of your time.
Oh, wow.
So I think that was her first company that said, look, we want you all the time, 100% of your attention. And then that's how
it's a good position to be in.
It is, but then you lose contact with all these multitudes of other.
Yeah, and all your eggs are in one bucket.
Right, and she rode that a while until they didn't let her go. I mean, she respectively just said, I've got to get back to these people. Yeah.
Well, it was right about that time, and you connected me with her, and we chatted, and she said, listen, I'll introduce you to this team here. They've got this. Ammo.com is a company that sells ammunition online. So if you're in the market for any type or brand of ammunition in any caliber that you can think of, it's available at ammo.com. And so when you go to check out, and it just delivers to your door, it's like the easiest thing in the world. I do it all the time. And so when you go to check out, you can click a button that says, a portion of the proceeds from this sale will go to a charity. And I think there's 3 or 4 charities named, and she got us to be one of those charities.
Right.
And so every quarter, a check comes to the mailbox at my house from ammo.com for the foundation. And I just want to publicly thank you. And Megan, I hope you listen to this, and thank you very much for that connection, because they've been faithful partners supporting our nation's combat wounded for many, many years, and it's just amazing. It's just we're very, very appreciative and thankful for what they have done for our wounded veterans by way of support, and it wouldn't have happened without, your daughter. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. She's going to love hearing that.
Yeah, it's true though, man. It's true. Okay, so let me ask you, man, what you've been helping us in the foundation for, as we said, about 12 years, maybe longer. And you've really helped tell the story, right, of what's going on out there in this space. And I want to thank you for all of your hard work and your talents, because along with Bob Wheeler, who helped produce the Honor Connect Heal video, you're a storyteller. You're capturing the story in video and the still shots, and you've done that with us over the years and done so magnificently.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for that. And tell us now, how do people, if people are interested in your work or getting to learn more about what you do, and maybe, looking to collaborate with you on a project, how do they find you, man?
It's weird. I've been blessed because over I would say the last 20 years. I mean, I started out working for people, right, or for the network or whatever. But now I'm an independent contractor. I'm a freelancer.
Perfect.
So up until now, it's all been word of mouth, like one client talking to another, and it's been wonderful. The only weird thing is that when COVID hit, it changed the way a lot of companies do things, and including making unscripted television, that type of thing, especially with wildlife. Because at the time it hit, I was with an organization in Canada, the Guide Outfitters Association of British Columbia, working on.
I remember that,
stuff with him. Some I can't remember what they called it, but all had to do with conservation, basically. I love it. Great group of people. Oh my God! And the backdrop to shoot on. What better, more beautiful places there?
That's crazy.
And then we were doing content up there, and of course we had to leave. And then after that, it was like, okay, this is the way we're going to do it. And that was different. So in the last couple of years, been finding the footing again with regular people calling me back. I don't advertise. Basically, right. I've been blessed that it's still like, who did that for you, or oh, I know this guy, or and I'm like super cool with that.
Well, how do they get a hold of you, man? I mean, you got to have a website. I don't want to give out your phone number here, but I mean, how are folks going to reach out to you, man?
We used to maintain a website. My wife handled that, but over the years we found out that you can tell how much activity that's seeing.
Yeah.
Am I getting anything from this? People would go there to look at pictures and stuff, but honestly, through my name alone, if you Google my name, I mean, pages and pages of stuff will pop up. But
you got an email address that you're using?
I believe it or not, I'm getting so much email, a lot of it, which I don't even want.
Right.
The email that matters goes to my wife. It goes to one of her accounts. Okay. But the best thing for me is honestly my phone number, because my phone number, my cell phone number hasn't changed in 25 years.
Can they find that online?
You could, yeah. It's easy to find. Good. You go to Facebook.
I'm trying to get you some business.
I know. I'm afraid it'll come.
See, sounds like you don't want any.
No, I definitely do.
No, I know. But that's the best. Hey, being hard to get and hard to find, because you have lots of high level obligations. That's a good thing. It means that you're in demand.
Well, if you go, I have a Facebook page at Danny Kirsic Images.
Okay.
And all my contact info is there.
Perfect.
It's weird giving your phone number out over my phone number is no secret.
I wouldn't do that.
You go to Danny Kirsic Images on Facebook. Yeah. You're good. It's going to be on there.
Okay, perfect. That's good.
You'll be able to contact me, and I'm telling you, even with email and Instagram, I'm there also. But man, that phone. That's key, man, because it's always with me, and I see it right away.
Right on. Well, I'll give you the last whack at the pinata, man. I mean, you want to share anything else with us here? I appreciate your time. I genuinely do. I know we got to go play some guitars, but
I know we can almost do this again because there's so much other stuff.
There's so much stuff.
There's so many cool moments, man. I've been so blessed. I couldn't even begin to tell you the cool stuff that I've done and the places I've been. I'd have to be a zillionaire to afford the places I've gone to. Yeah. Because I couldn't. People pay me to do cool stuff, you know. Right. Between my dad traveling in the Air Force, you know, every 3-4 years you're moving, and then when he got out, I went in, and it was the same thing over and over again. And then when I got out of the service, I was on the road. You know, that's why it's so weird, man. It's like I met my wife when I was on the road, and she was working. Obviously, she was a lineman for Southern Bell. It was very cool, but.
She's a sweetheart.
So, thank you. And so all our time together was so few and far between. It was like we're dating all the time. And then when she retires, and now we're living up in the mountains, we're together all the time. And bless her heart, she's like, "Is there something that you should be doing right now? Like, there's some place you could be going, you know?" But yeah, I still love traveling. I don't like sitting home a lot. I like to stay as busy as I can. I'm doing like everything from commercials to wildlife to. I have been shooting a lot of boats for some reason, which I'm cool with it because it's beautiful. The backdrops are always super nice.
There's folks that are trying to sell and market boats?
No, like people that make boats, companies that make boats.
Okay, cool. Very nice. Yeah, I remember seeing some of your footage there. Man, when we had the Hero on the Bay fishing tournament, you took some
was fun, man.
Photos.
You know what? I think it was a couple weeks ago. You said something about that you were looking back on those pictures, and so I actually went back and looked at them. I'm going like, oh my gosh, there was some cool shots in it.
You know what I do? I tell the staff when we're trying to put together a piece of collateral material that's going to go out and do something, right?
Yeah.
And we're looking for images. I say, first, I want you to start. Okay, in the Danny Kirsic file. Okay, we have it on Dropbox, right? Took all your photos, dumped them in there. I said, if you're looking for a cool shot to put on a, you know, like we got this end of the year gift giving thing coming up, 20 years. This is our 20th year anniversary. I can't believe it, man.
Amazing, man.
It is. But anyway, so I said, go to the Danny Kirsic file and start stealing stuff because it's all really good stuff in there.
Let me tell you, I love shooting for you guys. I mean, you personally is obvious, but like the men and the women that you have out in the field that you're helping, that you're sending on these missions, then they are so nice to be around.
Yeah, man. We had dinner with Jeremy and Derek last night. And you're just, you know, there's so much respect at that table. There's the four of us sitting there having dinner. Yeah. There's just so much respect there. I mean, I respect them. They respect me. They respect you. You respect them. You know, it's just, you know, and they're quiet, calm professionals considering what they've been through, you know, and it's just, it blows me away, man. It just blows me away. It's, you know, you're doing good work when you are able to spend high quality time around people who, that you know, like, and trust, right? And that's who's on this boat. I can tell you that. And it was neat. And we got a couple more days. They're going to be off the water here in a couple hours. I've already got some photos. I've already been into some snook, but I deliberately decided to not go on that fishing trip because, you know, one, I live here and I fish the waters all the time. Captain Phil Pegley's out there with him right now fishing, and I told the guys and Phil, I said, listen, these two guys are here for this leadership development program that we got going, and they're not saltwater experts. I know you're not going to turn them into saltwater fishing experts in a day, but they can observe and watch one of, I think, the finest guides in Tampa Bay, and how he performs, how he's prepared, and how he executes, and how he treats his clients, and all of that, which is part of being a good guide. And that's why we're doing this leadership development course, is to develop them as leaders. And the more we can expose them to great Americans like you, we're going to do some media training. That's why you're here, to help them understand that space and maybe work in that space a little more effectively, to capture the essence of what what's, happening before, during, and after operations. And then, we've got a whole bunch of other things in that program. There's some suicide prevention. They're going to meet the staff for the first time. These guys have never been here to this headquarters. So we're bringing them in groups of 2s and 3s to do this leadership development, just the guides, and it's a little more intimate space. And, I wanted to invite you along because, you're a great American, and I think you can, I know you're adding great value to this space, and I know you're spending some quality time with them alone tonight, and I'm going to respect that time that you guys have together, and that's. Then we'll have dinner. I think tonight we'll have another dinner, and then tomorrow they'll be in here doing a podcast, and we'll be here on Monday to meet the staff, and then they go home. That's the program. So I want to just take the opportunity. Thank you, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me. I hope we ought to do a part 2 sometime and get a little more prepared and tell some cool stories.
Yeah. Yeah, you talked about unscripted. We were having breakfast night, and I was talking about the unpredictable nature of things, the uncertainty that surrounds us every day. This idea of uncertainty, right? Yeah. Constant work, uncertainty, and pain. I took that from a TV show, but it's true. We all live in this space, right, where there's all these things happening. I said, I'm going to show you a little uncertainty. You kind of looked at me funny. I go, you don't know what we're going to do right after this. You said we were going to go play guitars, but how'd you like to do a podcast? You're like, dude, I'm in, and so here we are. But thank you again, and we look forward to, the rest of the weekend, and appreciate you, buddy.
Dude, man, I can't thank you enough for letting me be part of what this organization does, man, and spending time with you. It's like $1 million piece of bacon.
We had $1 million bacon. First Watch. If you ever go to First Watch, I'm not getting paid to do this, but you should go to a First Watch and get the $1 million bacon, because that is an experience, and they call it $1 million bacon for a reason.
Yeah. If that's the only thing you get while you're there, you're a winner.
You're a winner.
Yeah. If I was, let me see, let me do the numbers. 50 years younger, I would have a rock band called $1 Million Bacon.
Actually, that's a good name for a band.
That's freaking great, man.
$1 Million Bacon. Who's going to forget that?
Not me.
Right,
well, it's like we got in trouble in the 70s or the early 80s because we had a band called Free Beer for a while.
Oh man!
And it was like it lasted like a month.
And they ran you out. The merchants ran you out. They're like, no, dude. No, everybody's asking about this.
On the
free
marquee,
beer.
It goes free beer tonight, free beer Friday and Saturday.
That's funny. Yeah, like I think there was a thing out there, and they were doing it in Wisconsin for a while. It's like free beer tomorrow, and so folks would show up and go, "I'd like my free beer," and they go, "That's tomorrow."
That's genius, man.
Only in Wisconsin, you gotta love it. All right, buddy. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it, and hope you guys enjoyed the program.
Thank you for listening to the WWIA Podcast. To learn more about the Wounded Warriors in Action Foundation and how you can get involved, please visit our website at wwiaf.org or follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If you'd like to comment or offer feedback about our podcast, or if you have a suggestion for a future episode, please email us at podcast@wwiaf.org. Thank you for your support and for helping us honor, connect, and heal our combat wounded Purple Heart heroes through the power of the great outdoors.